Well, first of all, I feel that is a very self-sabotaging move that you can do.
Which I usually find very irritating in other resumes is
Recruiter will be very confused as to what kind of personality this person actually is. Project confidence in my sentences.
Hi Nishant, thank you so much for joining this session of how to create resume for fashion designers.
Thank you.
And I think all the resumes that I've seen so far, yours is one of the best. So I'm really very thankful that you have agreed to teach all my viewers how to create a fashion design resume. So what was your first step?
The first step for me was to look back at my journey from first year to my final year,
Okay.
all of the projects I've done so far, and sort them out in terms of the industry level that I've achieved in those projects, and also to fare them out as much as possible, because once you look back at your projects, you start to find out a certain amount of flaws and some sort of strength points
Okay.
that are there, and according to that you can formulate your projects in a way that they come out very technical and they come out very professional.
Okay. So I can see a beautiful picture of yours. So what was the thing that you were keeping in mind when you were choosing this picture? So what is the advice that you want to give us?
So I'd recommend using a photo that is very professional looking, something that channels your personality, something that channels your entire aura, and not something that is a selfie or a photo that is all the way back from 2018 on a hill station or somewhere.
Okay.
So follow a certain amount of professionalism when you're using your photo, because this is something that will be seen by the top recruiters of the industry.
Correct.
And they need to see the complete you. Your face should be properly visible. There should be appropriate amount of lighting to your image, and it should be clearly visible.
When we as a recruiter, we also see a resume. So, and when we see a picture, it speaks 1,000 words about you, like your attitude, your aptitude, what kind of person you would be. If you have put a very casual image there, then we know that you are yet not ready professionally.
Yeah.
You would be a very creative person, but your professional efficacy turns out when we see that right in the picture clicking, you have taken so much of care. So I think that is a great part of your resume, that it showcases the best professional shade of yours when you're putting the picture, right? Nishant, the second thing which I usually find very irritating in other resumes is when they say about me, usually most of the people they copy paste from other resume or maybe website. So have you also copy pasted your about me, or you have actually crafted it yourself for yourself?
So my about me paragraph is clearly formulated by myself only, and this is something you should not copy at all, because whenever you be sitting for an interview,
Yeah.
you will be projecting a very different side of yourself as compared to what you've written on your resume.
Correct.
So if I've written something on my resume as I'm a very happy and a very jolly person who likes to work with the team, and when I'm being interviewed by the recruiter,
Yeah.
and I project myself as someone who's very sad, very laid back, who's not at all a team player.
Correct.
So the recruiter will be very confused as to what kind of personality this person actually is.
Correct.
Because certainly then he knows that you've copied your about yourself page from someone else's.
Okay.
And that is a huge mistake. That is like a very, very huge mistake when it comes to resume making.
Okay. Yeah, and most of the time, just by seeing that about me, we are able to figure out that this person is fake or authentic. Now, coming down to your resume, like I'm seeing some very big names: Rahul Mishra, H&M, all these. How have you put together these projects in your resume?
These projects are actually not projects that have been worked with the industry, but these are academic projects in collaboration with the industry.
Okay.
For like my Rahul Mishra Pehla Kadam project.
Yeah.
This project in academic terms in my college is known as Triple I.
Okay.
So I can't project that very module-ish name in my resume and term it as Triple I and then write whatever I've done in that project.
Correct.
So I've used the name of the brand that I work for in the academic course, and I formulated it according to my concept.
Okay, so same goes with H&M?
Same goes with H&M as well.
Okay, all right. Because the way I look at your resume, those are the very attractive point, because you are talking about some very big names of the industry. And then when I start reading, I understand these are hypothetical projects, but all the things that you have worked for them, you have written it. Now, when I see the way you have described your paragraphs, they are very short and crisp, and they all start in bullet points. So why you have not used paragraphs to write about your project?
So, in terms of readability, I feel that paragraphs are very hard to cope up with when you're reading. Everything is very fast paced right now, and people want to learn about you as quick as possible.
Correct.
Because the recruiter will get hundreds and 200s of resume on in front of his desk, and he's not going to go through the entire paragraph of whatever you've done from A to B to Z or whatever. So you need to create sentences that are very short and crisp, and that also end in a way that it describes your final outcome of that project.
Correct. Why you have started every line with an active verb?
So the sole purpose of using that is to project confidence in your in my sentences, and not sound like, for example, I've written here, filmed and edited a campaign video using Adobe Premiere Pro. So this sentence is very short, very crisp, and to the point, and this carries a certain amount of confidence in it, as compared to something I write as, I had filmed and edited a campaign video on using Adobe Premiere Pro on this day, on that.
Okay.
So that sentence keeps on exaggerating and exaggerating it, and it never ends.
Okay.
And it sounds very unprofessional when it comes to readability.
Okay. And I also think when you have written that single line, me as a recruiter will understand your skill level in Premiere Pro, that you've actually filmed and edited. So after your first page, which is mostly around fashion brands, uh, what does your second page consist of?
So the second page consists of who I am as a person,
Okay.
and what I have been what I have been accomplishing over the years of my education, and positions and achievements that I have held upon over the years of my college and school. And the second page is basically all about whatever you have done in terms of community services. It is a proof of the fact that not only you've not just like studied in school for like 70 or 80% and you've got like 95 in maths or English or whatever subject, but it also showcases that you as a person, you are also very disciplined in life. You are also someone who can be trusted with responsibilities.
Correct.
And you're also someone who follows a certain kind of routine in your life.
Got that. So the second page is basically reflecting your personality as a person, and you have showcased a lot of stuff which is connected to fashion, but maybe those were not done inside the college.
Yeah.
So if you have worked with FDCI, if you have modeled someone, or if you have photographed someone. Now, one more thing that I get very annoyed with, Nishant, is that a lot of students that they send when they send their resumes, I see that their skills and knowledge they showcase in an infographic, where they're saying their MS Word is 80%, Excel is 70%, Photoshop is 90%, Illustrator is 7%. So me as a recruiter, I have never been able to make sense of that, because I don't know if they actually know 80% of Adobe Photoshop, because Adobe Photoshop is big and it is updating every 3 months. So I am not able to figure that out. Why you have not used all those infographics in your resume?
Well, first of all, I feel that is a very self-sabotaging move that you can do in terms of resume making. These are skills that you polish over time, and you just like Sir said, these apps keep updating over the period of 3 months or maybe an year or 6 months. So over time, you learn it, you polish them. Nobody is perfect in any of these apps. Not even the world's best illustrator or the world's best Photoshop artist can say that I am 100% achiever in this software. These are things that you keep learning and you keep polishing, and you just have to be confident in how much you have learned and how much you can apply in terms of your career.
So I think the best way to put it is when you're writing your projects, inside those projects you write that you have completed this whole graphic by using Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator. So when people are looking at those graphics, they understand that okay, these things have been created by somebody who knows this software this well, right? So those are better ways of putting your skill level than to give an abstract infographic which actually makes no sense to anybody. Nobody can comprehend that. So now, Nishant, please tell us any concluding remarks that you want to give to my viewers.
So I just like to say that do not copy anyone's resume. Do not copy a certain amount of graphics or a certain type of layout which is very mainstream. Do not obviously do not write an about page that is someone else's and not yours. Resume is something which is built around yourself. It is something which is very personal and professional at the same time. There are a lot of graphic rules when it comes to textual presentation available. You can obviously follow that. You can follow certain type of guidelines when it comes to English writing or using verbs that sound more confident. You can always replace certain amount of words that are too for example, a word like amazing, it is not that professional, but it comes off very casual in a resume.
Correct.
So you can always replace that with a very professional sounding term.
Yeah.
And yeah, build a resume that is more about you, your achievements, your industry, and your academic work. Keep it as authentic as possible, and yeah, just make it a resume that is something that speaks for yourself, and you don't need to constantly explain your resume whenever you're sitting for an interview. When the recruiter sees your resume, he or she knows that okay, this person possesses certain these skills, and this person knows what can be done and what cannot be done in a single shot, and he does not have to like ask you again and again ki kya likha hai, please explain. So yeah.
Explain. Okay. So I think Nishant has given us a great checklist that we need to see when you are creating your resume. Your consumer is actually an HR of a company who is trying to gauge what kind of skills and knowledge you have through your resume. So don't show your creativity in your resume, show it in your portfolio. Okay. And also, always remember that this is the first document which is going to become like the introduction of you to a company, and companies are are very serious when they are working with their with the people they want to hire. So you also need to showcase that little bit of seriousness, that now you know that whatever I was in my college I was, but now I am entering the professional world, and there are certain rules and regulations that are prevalent in that world, and I know about that. And this is the document by which you can understand that I have become professionally relevant now. Okay, so I have arrived professionally. Thank you again, Nishant, for educating all my viewers. So if you have learned anything new from this video, please like, share and subscribe, and help me in growing this community that I'm trying to make. I'll be seeing you again pretty soon. Thank you so much.
All the best for your resume making, guys.